Hey everyone, my name is Beth, and this week for the Real Women of Philadelphia, I am going to invite you back to the 60s when my family first started making Greg cheese. I know it's a very unusual name for an appetizer, but what happened was sometime between 1966 and 1968, my mother and father-in-law, who were living in Washington, D.C. at the time, frequented a small Italian restaurant where, while the entrees were being prepared, they would serve a plate with an ice cream scoop of a soft white cheese with crackers for you to enjoy while you were waiting for your meal. Well, it was delicious, and one day they were there with me, Mom, and Pop-Pop, who are my mother-in-law's parents, and everyone loved this cheese, and me, Mom said, "Oh, I can make that myself." She could do everything herself. So that's when she came up with the original recipe of 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, 4 ounces of blue cheese, garlic to taste, and milk to taste, depending on what you were serving the dip with. And let me just tell you, I cannot eat, and there are no words to describe how good these 4 things taste together. It's unbelievable. And actually, when my husband first started table food, he loved this dip, which is really unusual because it's just loaded with garlic and blue cheese, and it has a very strong taste, but he loved it. So they lovingly named the dip Greg cheese after my husband, Greg. And Greg's favorite thing to have with this dip is potato chips. So today I'm going to make it very special, and I'm going to be serving this dip with homemade potato chips, which are very easy to make, and they make it that much more special. So let's get started. I've actually prepared a lot of things ahead of time because we're a little bit challenged in the editing department in our family, so we're just going to try to do it straight through. So I've already made our potato chips, but just to show you how it's done, I have a potato here. It's a red skin potato because that's what I had on hand. I was actually making Paula Deen's French fries last weekend. So I have a bunch of these on hand, and what I do is I slice them real thin with a mandolin. It's somewhere between 0 and 1/8 of an inch. So I know these things are scary, but they're actually real easy once you get the hang of it. And then once you get down to a certain point here, you want to use the food gripper because you don't want to slice a part of your finger off. And yes, I've done that twice now actually, and not on this one. I had a different mandolin before, but yeah, that wasn't pretty. But this is real easy to do, and it just, you know, it makes it so much faster. I'm making a little noise here, sorry. And there we go. The last chunk doesn't really come out very well. So what I'm going to do is put my chips here, see how thin they are. I'm going to put them in some water I have here in my salad spinner, and I'm going to let them soak while I prepare my Greg cheese. Now, the soaking will leach all of the starch out of these, and we'll rinse them off and dry them off, and then they'll be crispier and they won't stick together in the fryer. So I'm just going to set those aside, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make Greg cheese. In my bowl I have an 8-ounce brick of Philadelphia cream cheese. We have our 4 ounces of blue cheese. Get that all out here. And I use 4 to 5 garlic cloves. These are real big ones, so I actually only have 4 in here, only 4. And I use my garlic press so I can squeeze all of the wonderful garlic juices out of them. So there's our 4 garlic cloves. And like I said, I'm going to use half a cup of milk for this. And you can also serve this dip with vegetables. You might want to add more milk if you're serving it with vegetables because it's easier to dip. Or you can use less milk actually, like if you're going to be spreading it on crackers, which is also really good. So I'm going to take this over to my mixer. And I discovered last week that if I used my whip, my wire whip here, it makes it really light and fluffy, but You can use whatever you want. Certainly don't have to have an electric mixer, and you can just use a hand mixer too. And you just want to whip it up. Starting it off slowly so the milk doesn't fly all over the place. There we go. Thanks to my wonderful husband, I have this beautiful mixer. So I can make him his grilled cheese. And I have to tell you too that if you serve this at a party, people will stand around just eating it and eating it and eating it. And it's really good if everybody partakes in the grilled cheese, because you will have garlic breath like you wouldn't believe, but it's worth it. So that is done, my friends. That's all there is to it. I don't even really have to scrape the sides of the bowl. It's just all whipped in there. I'll have to clean that off better later because I don't really want to waste any of it. So, take this back over here. And I also like to add some chives to this. It just gives it another nice little spark of flavor. These are just some fresh chives that I've sliced up. And I'm going to save some for the garnish on top. Like I said, these are mostly for visual effect because the cream cheese, the blue cheese, the milk, and the garlic is enough on their own to just taste absolutely fabulous. But this is just for looks. So, there you have it. It is that easy. So now that that's done, what I would do now is, my potato chips have just been, soaking in here for a few minutes. I would dump the water off, spin them in my salad spinner to dry them off a little bit, and I would come over here and lay them on my kitchen towel, blot them off with the paper towel, and I would take them over, fry them for 2 to 3 minutes in my deep fryer, or you could use a pot on the stove, of course, until they're nice and golden brown. And then, just so happens I have some already ready. This is what you have. Isn't that beautiful? My mouth is watering just looking at that. And I'm going to try to carefully put my grilled cheese in here. I'm using Me Mom's Gravy Boat and Me Mom's plate. And it is so nice to be able to use some of her things in the kitchen since she's no longer with us. Every time I take something out, which is usually every day, I take out a spoon or something that was hers, and I think of her and all of the wonderful things that she served her family, and it's great. So I'm just going to garnish with a few chives here, and there you have it. And this video would not be complete without a taste test. So creamy, so garlicky, woo, so good. I really hope that you will try this recipe sometime for your family. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was great to be able to tell a story about our family, because after all, that's what food is all about. We nourish our families, we nourish our souls, and it also tastes pretty damn good. So, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.